Hey, what's up, guys? I am Iya Ashael Rakapata, and this is Smoking with the Gods Part 3. So, in Smoking with the Gods Part 3, we're going to be freestyling. I'm not going to really try to read too much off of anything. This is going to be all from the head. Um, I want to add some people right now. So, let's see. Let's see. Come on in, guys. Share the video. Share the video. Can y'all hear me? Mic check, mic check. Share the video, y'all. This is Smoking with the Gods Part 3. Okay, so in Smoking with the Gods Part 3, we're going to be talking about the Olmecs, the Giants, okay, the island of California and the California Giants. We're going to talk about 2021 and 2012, the timeline swap. We're going to talk about the San Andreas Fault of California, the Mandela effect, Earth's magnetic pole shifts, the introduction to the Black Olmecs, also known as the Xi people. What else? We're going to talk about Gondwana, okay, which is the land of the gods. You feel me? Amaru. Pre-human history, when the gods roamed the earth, and then the 7 kingdoms of pre-Samaria, and also the 10 kingdoms of earth. So we going in right now. So Smoking with the Gods, in the tablets of Thoth, the emerald tablets of Thoth, it talks about asa raka ruku ruku. So Smoking with the Gods, as we were saying, in the emerald tablets of Thoth, it talks about how there were 10 kings of the earth over the 10 different regions or continents that were inhabited by the gods. So we're going to talk about that. Let me give me a second, y'all. I'm a little here and there. So, and how giants and stuff roamed the earth. I kind of got like this nigger rigged right here. So let's see. So let's talk about the Olmecs. So the Olmecs were called the rubber people, the Olmecians. It is said that our ancestors who were giants, guys, right, roamed the earth. Humans were actually created and everything on earth at one point. Oh my gosh. Give me a second, y'all. The wind is blowing everything away. So, oh, snap. So give me a second, 1 second, y'all. Kind of scattered here. Give me 1 second. I got to grab these. So everybody come on in. Sorry, it is windy. So we're going to take our time with this. Try to get it right, y'all. Okay, so as you guys can see, sorry, y'all, it's kind of windy. So, and it said in Genesis, right, and also in the book of Enoch, that the sons of God came down and made it with the daughters of men. This is billions of years ago. And this landmass was called Gondwana. When all the continents were connected to Africa, Africa is the only continent that, I think America is too, parts of America that is actually rooted inside the earth. So before the flood, before any of these things, we had Gondwana. Y'all gonna have to check that one out and look it up. So everything on the earth, right, was giant. Okay? Giant. And see how humans de-evolved. Now we're going to a next stage in evolution where we are evolving again and we might become giants again. So this is the X. Anytime you guys see X, right, that's the Roman numeral representation of 10. Gene X. Okay, so whenever y'all see the XI people, those are the people after the Earth, the 12 continents fell and we only had 10 continents left, right? These people had the 10 strains of DNA left, the 10th codon. See? So if you guys look at all the ancient maps, right, before they modified us with the Mandela effect, you will find out, right, see, South Africa, the cradle of human civilization. Inky's footprint. So I'm gonna just show y'all some of these things. Giants. There were giants on the earth in those days, as it says. See? And this is when the sons of God made it with the daughters of man, and we lost, right? Not the daughters of human, but the daughters of man. We lost certain DNA strains that we had access to. Hey, what's up, big brother? That we had access to. So I'm gonna show y'all some of these maps. All right. This is California. This is a map of Privy Island. So in the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, it talks about the island of Ka-Uruk or Ka-Ur. Okay, anybody that knows knows that was a part of Samaria. Okay, the Americas were actually a part of the pre-Sumerian dynasty. It was called the Hopi Nile Valley civilization. Now, Dr. York talks about this as well, and a few other people talk about this and break down this information as well. See, so Ka-Ur, right, actually became Khalifa or California, which is the island of California, which is where the Amazonians and the female gods live. When we were gods, we lived in land masses that were grown with our minds. Okay? When we were giants, we created those mounds that you see from a higher level, and we brought those down here into our manifestation. Everything was built with Ori, with the mind. Okay? So this is why you can find Hashi here. You can find temples that in America that predate Egypt and Samaria. You could find a sphinx. I have a picture of a sphinx. So here's some world maps or whatever, showing y'all this was right there. See, everything was all connected. So let me get into a little bit of the Olmecan things. So giant head of an Olmec. Okay. So it was said that our ancestors actually used to travel here consistently. Everything works in cycles. So here we go. I'm going to do some reading, and I'm going to try not to bore y'all out with this, but let me get into some stuff. This is important. All right. The black civilizations of ancient America, known as Mulan. Okay. Mu is the landmass that we were on. So you had Mu, Lemuria, what is it, Ceylon, and a few others. I'll post them later. But the ancient civilization of ancient Amaru, or America, the Exai people. Giant stone heads of Negroid African during the Olmecan Exai civilization. The earliest people in the Americas were people in the Negroid African race who entered the Africas perhaps as early as 100,000 years ago by way of the Bering Strait, and about 30,000 years ago in a worldwide maritime undertaking that includes journeys from the then wet lake filled Sahara towards the Indian Ocean in the Pacific from West Africa, right? And this connects to voodoo, okay? Because voodoo, right, originates in West Africa. It originates in the Congo, Nigeria, Ghana, and stuff like that, okay? But it actually travels from South Africa up, okay? And voodoo directly connects with your guys' melanin, okay? Your melanin is activated, your melanin is what activates your 10 codon. DNA of your DNA. So when you start to meditate, or if you book a session with me or something like that, we actually go on a journey to activate those gates. Inside your DNA is a ride. It's a roller coaster. This is why the spiring, the bridges, and the ladders, when it talks about Jacob's ladder, it talks about accessing your cosmic DNA and unraveling your DNA and unraveling human history and time. What is in your DNA? Your ancestors live in your DNA. Everything lives within your DNA structure. So it says towards from West Africa across the Atlantic Ocean towards the Americas. According to the Gladwin thesis, the ancient journey occurred particularly about 75,000 50,000 years ago, including black pygmies, black Negroic peoples, and black Australoids. Similar to the original black people of Australia. Now, when you break into the ancient Sumerian, it says that Enki lived in what? I lived in the Abzu. I lived in the Abzu. That means I lived in the lower regions of the underworld, the lower regions of the world, which was Africa, which was connected to South America, North America, and also, and we moved to North America after getting kicked out of the Incans and the Mayans. Malachi York talks about that story about how I was in there and we were doing blood sacrifices and stuff. This is still the same thing we do in voodoo, except for they use animals now, but these were giants. So the earth was connected to the AB bloodline. When you connect to the AB blood, you're connecting to some of the original bloodlines right next to the O. O is original, AB is something else, and we are all four different parts of four different higher species of beings. You have reptilian, mammalian, okay, simian, and feline, okay? So the ancient African terracotta portraits 1000 BC to 500 BC. Recent discoveries of the field of linguistics and other methods have shown without a doubt that the ancient Olmecs of Mexico, known as the Ixai people, came originally from West Africa and were of the Mende African ethnic style. If you check out West Africa, Kenya, they have a people called the Meru people, and on that mount, it's called Mount Meru. Okay, it is said that they came here on boats during the trades, and they actually came here because their cousins was here in the Americas, in South America and North America. It is also said that Khufu, okay, not the Sumerian god, the first king, right? Khufu the first was the first pharaoh to actually come here from Nubia. See, everybody's looking at Egypt and Sudan. Well, I mean, Ethiopia has a lot of stuff, but y'all need to look at Nubia and Kush. These are some of the oldest pyramids that also coincide with the ones that we have here in America. What happened in America is that we had a nuclear war with the gods. There is a statue of me as a reptilian at one of these sites that we have, and its face is all fucked up, and it looks like the land is black because there was a war there. So they tell y'all about the war of the gods, but they don't tell y'all about really what happened with the war of the gods. Exactly. Old blood is original. And now they're trying to get you guys with the synthetic humans. Now, synthetic humans are the ones who have Rh negative blood. Okay? Which means when they're telling you that the mother will reject that child, that means that is an embryonic species child. Because that has to deal with gene harvesting. That has to deal with harvesting certain particular and embedding in implants. They'll implant children into the earth to harvest them off the earth. And this is how a lot of children at a certain age go missing. They see owls and stuff like that. That has to do with the Gray Alien Project. But we're going to touch at that. Yep. Kush. Exactly. So the Mende script was discovered on some of the ancient Olmec monuments. Mexico was founded where Mexico was found identical to the very script used by the Mende people of West Africa. Although the carbon-14 testing date of the presence of black Olmecs or Ixai people is about 1500 BC, but carbon dating itself, right, can only go back so far. Thinking if the human mind can only go back so far, what tells you that this computer can go back so far? Yeah, we learning some real shit right now. I've been studying this for a while, and I've been piecing this together. Because check it. It connects to what? The 10. All right? Let's go into some chakras real quick. Because I really want to get this chakra science too. And I'm going to show you how it interweaves. Those who have eyes to hear and eyes to see and ears to listen, check this out. Okay, number 10, right? Number 10, the 10th chakra is your stellar gateway. That is the ability to project your consciousness into the universe and through the sun. So what happens when your 10th DNA gets activated, right? The 9th deals with the soul. The 6th deals with the spirit. So when you have somebody who is 6 ether, that is a spiritual being, a spiral being. A 9, right, is the completion of the soul. Which you become not a spiral, you become a sphere. Y'all gotta know sacred geometry and how the soul moves and it evolves. So see, as you can see, you had 12 other chakras. This means you were at least a very tall being at one point. So much so that these chakras leave outside your head. The ninth is your soul. So we got the one, the base, the core. The two, the coxswain, the mahira. This is the five senses. You got the sacral, the swashahana. It's an emotional consciousness, attaining desire and pleasure. Okay, you have the anahata, the psychic consciousness. That's your fifth, right? Okay, you have your cervical, the vishuddhani. That's the transcendent of consciousness, communication and expression. You got your pineal gland, the aja. That's the ether connection, the stability within peace. You have your crown chakra. That's the super consciousness. When you are able, right, to raise your consciousness consciously to certain theta waves, certain alpha waves, and certain other waves, you begin to be able to become telekinetic. You begin to tap into these ancient powers. Okay? So we're going to get a little bit more. See, here's a 12 chakra system, right? I say. Shout out to Mindset Morgano. What's up, brother? I see your message. I'm going to get back to you later. So I just wanted to touch in on that. The southern United States may have become West Africa much earlier, particularly around the 5,000 years before Christ, which we know Christ didn't exist. Christ was Isa. They call him Isa bin Panthera. That's his nickname. His name was Isa Yahweh, some other shit that y'all ain't even going to be able to pronounce because it's so old. That was who I was. I'm giving you guys this knowledge, this wealth, this currency of lifetimes that I have acquired, and I'm bringing it to you guys and giving you confirmation. A lot of this stuff is just within me, and I just know. I was born with a lot of this knowledge and I have to unlock a lot of it. Okay? So the conclusion is based on the finding of African native cotton that was discovered in North America, and only possibly matters of arriving where it was found had to have been through human hands. At the period in West African history, even before civilizations was in a full bloom in the Western Sahara, what is today Mauritania. One of the African earliest civilization is the Zing Empire. All right, it existed and may have lived in what was a lake-filled, wet, fertile Sahara, and where the ships crisscrossed in place. Okay, so the Olmecs, right? The Olmecians were part avian, which is why they were so tall, and they were part reptilian, draconian. Okay, a lot of the different races fought in this land, America, Amaru, the land of the serpents, the land of the dragon. And all this connects to the previous videos dealing with voodoo. Okay, when you deal with voodoo, right, you're also dealing with Roman Catholicism because it was absorbed into that. Why was it absorbed into that? Because a part of that is your divine inheritance. Because that dragon from Atlantis, right, there's stories of Atlantis where they actually captured a dragon. This is why you have the Knights of Malta. This is why you have the Knights of Columbus, which are they're big ass child traffickers. Just want to put that out there. Watch out for the Knights of Columbus. They're the next ones up to do what they do. What is it? The Knights of Malta and the Knights Templar. All this is surrounded by what? The dragon, Lucifer, or Alalu. Y'all call him Allah in certain religions because that was his religion because he was the first god of earth. In what y'all call him? Unikukulan. They intermix Inky and him in South African culture. So the dragon, the red dragon under the Vatican or the black dragon under the Vatican. I posted about this. So I'm gonna do a video on that for y'all too in the near distant future. So check it out. I'm part Cameroonian. So this confirms my ancestry as well as a few others. The ancient kingdoms of West Africa were occupied the coast forest belt from Cameroon to Guinea or Ghana. Guinea. Had trading relationships with other Africans dating back to prehistoric times. However, 1500 BC, the ancient kingdoms not only traded along the Ivory Coast, but the Phoenicians, right? And other peoples. The Phoenicians have a god, right, named Amara or Amaru. Look this up. They have a god named Amaru. Okay, and they said that he dwelled in a lost island or a lost city on the other side of the world. So this is all connected to the 12 kingdoms and the 10 kingdoms of earth. Okay. Now I'm gonna take a little quick little break. I'm gonna go into something that, since we got my brother here, Hashi, Dilbert Blair talked about this, and I'm gonna allow him to step in. Okay. The divine right to rule the earth was based upon your spiritual abilities. I do not call myself a prince or Prince Ea because I think I'm a prince, because of my divine right in this body, in this incarnation, to rule this earth, as among many others who are chosen at this time to rule the earth. It says the meek will inherit the earth, and the princes of the earth will divide the earth amongst themselves. As it was the days of old, so shall it be in the days of now. Okay? Your divine right to rule was based on how psychic you were. If you could not control dominions, if you could not control kingdoms, if you did not have the right cranial structure, this is why our heads were elongated. Okay? Because you had to be psychic. You had to be able to interconnect with the animals, and the animals had to be able to. How do y'all think Noah got the animals on the ark? He was able to communicate to them with his mind. He was able to do these things. How do you think he can command the water to separate? I mean, not to separate. Moses could command the sea to part because it was his divine right. It was his divine right to rule amongst his people. And that's how you were chosen. It wasn't until politics, until the takeover of Babylon. And remember, Babel is where we cast spells, right? And the takeover of Babylon, where politics came in, and then the wrong family or the wrong 13 bloodlines, the negative 13 bloodlines, took over the earth. I'm going to get into how they did that. They did it by jumping time. See, they did it by jumping time. This is how we got the what? Mandela effect. The Mandela effect was based off of what, y'all? The Mandela effect was based off of the fact that Nelson Mandela, right, actually was dead. But they started messing with CERN and hadron colliders, right? Or you can go to John Titterway, hadron colliders, and thus they manipulated time. And during this time frame, lots of land masses and stuff started popping up. People were going crazy about this Mandela effect. The Statue of Liberty had things that there was a bridge to the Statue of Liberty that Bernstein Bears. One of these effects, right, was the fact that California used to be an island. Okay, because I don't want to make this too long by reading out to y'all too much. But California was once an island. All right. So California was once an island, and then let's see what can we get into. I'm gonna get into that right after this because I really want to get into the Nubian Kush king and queen. So sorry y'all if I'm bouncing around, but it has a reason for it. Yeah, he died twice. Who came first? Giants. They all came at the same time. See, a lot of people don't understand that you have the Anunnaki, the Durunaki. You got the Anunna gods. Okay, the Anunna gods came from the 7 stars of the Pleiades system. Okay, so now here is if anyone is to claim further from this point out that they are incarnated Inky, you need to ask them some serious questions about DNA. I've had the same thing too with that one guy who claimed he was me. What was his name? Michael Lee Hill. So what happened was the Pleiadian star system, right, is a prison. Yeah, the Pleiadian star system is a prison. It says, all right, if you are to be he who knows these things, right, you have to bind the chains of the Pleiades and loosen Orion's belt. Bind the chains of the Pleiades, loosen Orion's belt. The other marker is, can you guide the bear and her cubs? Can you mark the constellations in all their ordinances? Do you know the way of the stars? Do you know the way of the earth? If they don't know the way of the earth and they don't know the way of heaven, the stars, they dead. They're not that being. They're not that deity. They're not me. Okay? So it says, seek him who maketh the belt in Orion. Seek him who maketh the seven stars in the seven sisters in Pleiades. It says he will have 7 stars, 7 X's on his right hand. See, this is going into some stuff. But so whenever somebody comes on with that, oh yeah, nah, kill that noise, bro. That's not what it is. You're not that deity. There is only one. This is why in the previous videos I said Sap Inka. It says Sap Inka, meaning he is the only Inka. And In meaning Lord. Okay, to become an In, right? It talks about the lords of the earth. See? Now, see how everything goes back and comes back to my same point, is that the earth was inhabited by what? 10 lords. It became 9 lords. Okay, after the one lord passed and ascended, the one Inka ascended. And they said that he will come back. He will incarnate again. And here I am. I've come to bring you this knowledge of many lifetimes. So the Nubian Kushite king and queen, okay, it is believed that there was a Nubian presence in Mexico that the West African civilizations were related to. That of the Nubians, despite the distance between 2 centers of black centralized Africa, there is no doubt that ancient times there were commercial ties between West Africa and Kemet. I'm not going to call it Egypt because that was the Germanic name. I'm not the Germanic name, the Grecian name that they gave it when they took it over and they burned down our libraries. I have memories of that. They came and they took everything and they burnt down our libraries. They burnt down every bit of knowledge, and even human knowledge before then, right, was oral. It was passed down orally. Hey, 13. There's 13 stars in Draco. So 13 main centers in Draco. So there's no doubt that we had connection with those. Naku, a pharaoh of Egypt, sent ships to circumnavigate Africa, and later on, about 400 BC, the Phoenicians did the same, landing in West Africa in a nation now called Cameroon. All right, which is funny because we were at a event like a couple years ago, and they did my genealogy, and they said that I was from Cameroon. That was my main thing. And if you break down the etymology of Cam, okay, meaning Kim, Maroon. Okay, you're getting the combination of certain things. If you know it, you know it. I'm not going to give it away. Okay. So landing in West Africa is a nation now called Cameroon. This is where they witnessed what may have been the celebration of the Kwanzaa-like festival, where cymbals and horns and other instruments, as well as smoke and fire from burning fields, could be seen from their ships. At the period of history, the West African cultures and civilizations were offshoots of much earlier southern Sahara cultures, were very old compared to civilizations such as Greece and Babylon. See? Babylon or baby owned. Okay, so you have ands, owns, all that type of stuff like that. In fact, iron, right? So when they talk about Ogun or Agu, they're talking about me. They're talking about Inkai. He has many names. He's a shape. I am a shapeshifter. So whatever it is I need to do to get that task in that incarnation done, I will shapeshift into that. So when they talk about Ogun making iron and Shango having the same the shakri, that's what we call it in Sumerian. The shakri is that hammer that Thor has or whatever, or that axe that's in Lil. So this is why y'all see different twists of the different gods. And we're running out of battery power here, so hopefully we won't have to make a part 2. So let me go ahead and turn my battery saver on. Okay. So the Phoenicians did the same, Greece and Babylon, by the ancient West Africans as early as 2600 BC, and was common that there was no Bronze Age in Africa. Although bronze was used for ornaments and instruments or tools, a combination of Nubians, West Africans engaged in mutual trade and commerce along the coast of West Africa could have planted many ships from the Americas. So let's see what else we can see. See, here's a stone carving, right, of a shaman priest from Colombia. See? So the above stone carvings of a shaman priest kings, showing clear, distinct similarities in instruments, and held the purpose that realistic carving of an ancient African king Oni. And see, there's that Oni, These are the sounds of creation. These are the utterances of Draco, or utterances of dragons. Okay, the stone carving of a shaman from pre-Columbian St. August indicates the fusion of African religious practices into the Americas. In fact, the region of Colombia and Panama were among the first places that blacks were spotted by Spanish explorers. So let's see what else we can find. Here we go. Y'all can find the mount. Here's an ancient vessel of them showing them on their boats. There's a mound. The giants were called temple mound builders, but they also didn't just build temples and mounds just, with their hands. They did it with their minds, and they also were able to shapeshift. Now, when the earth gets to such a high vibration, it begins to become more fluid. It begins to be able to access and tap in more. It begins to get deeper and deeper, and this reality begins to fade because we're not stuck in this trap or this web or this illusion. Excuse me, y'all. Everything is blowing away. Oh, my blunt just blew away. My blunt blew away, but it ain't gonna go nowhere. I don't want to lose y'all on this. So let me get my stuff back together, regroup, refocus, just like magic. Okay, so Nubia, Kush, all that stuff. See, Olmecs. All right, where are we gonna get to Black California? Let's see. Look, an early Black Californian, Khalifa. Oh, see, they don't want us to get this information out. See, ancient ships, boats. This is us. So where is the island of California? Socioeconomics. I got tons of stuff. Tons and tons of information on this particular stuff. So, all right. What it talks about in the Kemetic teachings or the Kemetic science, right, is that Khufu, Khu, when you hear Khu, Kaz, in the different syllables and sounds that you hear, that give away the secrets of their origin. You feel me? If you look at Sumerian, the certain words, how they connect, give you our human language now. Because what did the Anunnaki do? We taught humans human language. We taught them languages. Man, they messing up the connection right now. 12-12. So if you look at all the maps, right, you see that California is an island. Oh yeah, don't forget about the snake mounds. We got the snake mounds. See, in the Americas, everything is going everywhere. California was an island at one point. They show you this, right, that they're trying to turn it back the same way. They show you this in the movies 2012 and 12, and then there's 1221. Okay, so 1221 is not a movie. Well, there's a movie called 1221, but it's not about that. Okay, 2012 happens when they tried to do a timeline swap using CERN. This is why they show you Kali, the black goddess, and she's sitting there like this goddess of destruction, right? They took that timeline, altered it, right? And then they did a time swap. So now California is no longer an island, and now we don't have that valley. But if y'all look at the movie 2012, right? The what is it? The poster shows you there's a crack right down the middle of California. So Gondwana land of God, pre-Sumerian history, the seven kingdoms of Mesopotamia. What else did we get into? So, what else are we getting into right now? And if y'all don't believe me, they actually have certain places that are blocked off from humans for people that actually show you that they still try to superimpose this place into the Americas. They even did work to even try to. There was large mudslides that took there. That whole little space in between California and the rest of the states is built on trash and a bunch of shit. Salt lakes, and they pour big old lakes of salt and all this stuff. Look, here we go. What are these for? It looked like y'all trying to connect two parts of the earth together. So, Gondwana, right? Or Wakanda, And if this dies, then we'll pick this up some other time. Okay, Gondwana is where they show you what Wakanda is in the movies. This is why they call it the Black Panther, because the panther, right, symbolizes the Cetus constellation, the mother of Sirius. Okay, the mother of Sirius, also the daughter of Sirius. They do a mating ritual in the celestial realms. The mother of Sirius. Venus was once in the same space and aligned with Sirius. This is how we got Isis. Okay, Orion, right, was aligned up to Sirius as well, and this is how you got Osiris. Because our suns and our Earth were born in those constellations. These are the portals that we created to come into this dimension. So here y'all go. California Island. There's nothing to fill that up with salt. You feel me? Put some bullshit in there, and there you go. The island of California. Here's the Avenue of Giants. So I know I bounced around a lot, and look, see, there's certain areas where that are really still not connected to California. A 1010, 1010, Gene X, Gene X. And this is why they keep showing you in X-Men what happens. That's why Mystique is blue. She's a shapeshifter. She's a reptilian. They show you, you know what I'm saying, the laser beam eyes. They show you Juggernaut and all these other ones. You feel me? They're showing you this because this is you. This is your 10th codon. Okay? This is your DNA. When the sun goes into the next sun cycle, what they're trying to stop, I will say this and make this announcement. Okay? Nibiru is behind the sun. Okay? They are trying to blow up Nibiru. They're trying to blow up Nibiru right now. This is why you have all these distractions. This is why they're doing mass genocide. This is why they're getting rid of all of us Stardust children from the stars. When we were stars, we became man. We became man. We made man in our image. And when I say by it means that we made man in our image, meaning that we split ourselves. We split our own atoms. We inside of us contain a hadron collider. In our solar plexus. Our solar plexus is in our what is it? In your navel chakra, your orange chakra. These chakras are your ability to jump through time if you have that ability. Not everyone is equal. Not everyone is the same. Unfortunately, fortunately, but that's nature. Okay. So, you know, a lot of people get on my page and be like, oh, you're racist. No, my grandmother is Portuguese, white, and all types of shit. And I just know tribalism. So there's many colors in a tribe. Trust me. So we got giants. And this brings me to this. Inky and then Lil on what? Hollywood, California. Why do they have this here? So here's some pictures. This is a black Californian. See depictions. And here's the Sphinx in Memphis. This is the Sphinx that they found in Memphis. Y'all can thank my bro, man, Hashiel from the Hashi tribe for finding a lot of this stuff. And now you know why it was a fight for Black Panthers. Why they chose the Black Panther, you feel me, the Cetus constellation as their mascot for freedom. Because they knew